Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Kaylana, the Blessed Driver here, and today I'm going to do a video on the Instacart customer service department and also with local management. Now, I'm just going to give you guys my personal experiences and also share some experiences from other shoppers. And so this may not apply to everybody, but I'm just going to kind of give you some information on what's going on. And also, I've gotten quite a few comments and questions from current shoppers. And so I'm going to try my best to address this so you guys can kind of understand what's really going on with the customer service and also with the local management in your particular area. Now, all the management personnel or team leads or shift managers or whatever in your area, it's not the same for everybody, because some shoppers have a pretty good experience with their team leads, shift leads, mentors, or even area managers, and most people don't even know who their area manager is. Now, I don't like that because we should all know who they are. Anytime a Instacart shopper gets hired on board and begin working for the company, we should know who the team lead is, who the mentor is, who the shift lead is, and even who the area manager is. And usually you don't hear from, well, most times, not in all cases, but you usually don't know who your area manager is until there's an incident that happens. And that's kind of like what happened to me. Actually, I was in Tampa a couple months ago, earlier this year, actually, and I was kind of low on hours and I need to pick up some shifts. So I decided to pick up some hours in Tampa. And at that time, we were actually here in the state of Florida. Instacart started to open up new areas and zones. And so one of them was, I think, in Palm Harbor. Another one was in Port St. Lucie. It was somewhere over there. And I've never been to some of those areas, but I had got a call and the area manager was asking me to work in those zones, but I was already working in the zone that I was in. And so basically, long story short, I didn't go, but I did work in Tampa for a couple days at one point. But some of those zones I've never worked because they're brand new, and he was asking me for help, and I had politely declined because I was actually already working in this zone. And so, but I never heard of this man. I never even knew who he was, and he gave me his name. And so I found out who he was when he asked me to work that zone. He was actually offering me like a lot of money, like an extra $200 or whatever bonus, and there were some great incentives in there, but I just couldn't do it. And so anyway, that's one thing, is that most shoppers don't even know who they are. And what I have found out, and also what I have been told, is that a lot of area managers, they're watching you from the back end, so you don't really know what's going on. And so they see it, but most of the times they don't even know who's who. They just kind of watch from the back end and just to see if everybody's on point as far as like with your metrics. Everybody is, at least attempting to accept most of the shifts and some other things. And also if there are any issues with the customer service, like as far as like with customers, they check on that. If there are any reports about something, if it's that serious, they'll definitely reach out to you and stuff. But I just believe that we should all know who our area manager is and who the managers are. Now, I know when I first started, there's a GroupMe app that they have. And so most shoppers in our zone are inside that group in the GroupMe app. You just download the app and they add you into the group. Now, I was on there from the beginning until maybe some months ago. And I got out for there are some reasons why. But my thing is I wasn't getting the support that I needed. And so it was kind of hard, especially for some of the shift leads and the mentors, to accommodate everybody because they're also shopping too. You see what I'm saying? And so that's one thing that you may encounter, is that you may not get the type of support that you need and stuff. And I guess for me, what I don't understand is that my videos are actually being shared in these GroupMe apps inside of the groups. And how I know is because I check my analytics, I check my metrics here on social media and on YouTube, and it's showing me that where my links and where my videos are being shared. And so, and which lets me know that they're watching my videos. So it matters. It doesn't. Who cares? But anyway, guys. So as far as management goes, I have talked with shoppers who have had some issues with their managers, or their shift leads, and they may not have gotten the type of support that they needed. They had a question, and one thing I just don't agree with is that Instacart is so focused on us wearing these t-shirts and lanyards, but they want us to meet with them to be able to get that, but it's hard for them to even answer our questions. You see what I'm saying? So if we have a question, if there's an emergency, and I know that they can't be there for everybody, I totally understand that, but it's like they want us to still abide by their rules, but we can't get the support that we need. You see what I'm saying? And then you have those those people that work in management or mentors or leads or whatever. They have their cliques, they have their groups, they have the people that they like, and they have the people that they don't like. They have people who they choose to work with, and they have people who they don't want to work with. Now, I can't say that for everybody because everybody's not the same. And I know that some shoppers aren't always as innocent as what they portray to be. You got some shoppers that are just difficult. And so I think that it varies. It varies on the individual, both on the management side and also on the shopper side. You see what I'm saying? And so one thing I do also want to let you guys know that when it comes to the management, sometimes they'll watch you and you don't know it. Like in the stores, like I've seen it, like in the stores. I remember a couple months after I started, I was in a grocery store shopping, for a customer, and I seen a guy with a lanyard, and I thought nothing of it because, I've seen some other shoppers before, and he kind of kept looking at me, and so I thought nothing of it, and so I thought maybe because he was thinking, okay, she's a shopper too, because I think I had on my Instacart shirt or my lanyard. I think it was my shirt at the time. And so he just briefly spoke, hello, and I kept on going. So it wasn't until like sometime after when because I had downloaded the GroupMe app again because it had took up too much space in my phone. Someone wasn't able to get my messages and stuff. And so long story short, I found out that he was one of the team leads, and I didn't even know it. And so basically, some people don't introduce themselves. Like he never say, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm your local team lead or area manager or, mentor, whatever. They don't say that. He just watched me. And so I'm thinking to myself, why didn't you say that then? It's like they'll watch you and then later on you'll find out like they're a manager or whoever, but it doesn't matter. Like my thing is, don't just try to manage. Don't just try to control, like actually make yourself personable, be touchable, let us know that you're there, and, there's some other things I'm not going to discuss here on the video, but, I got out of that. And so this is the reason why a lot of shoppers are joining some of these groups online on social media and things like that. Cause I also have a group, I have a couple of groups, and because we're not really getting support that we need. And honestly, I feel like, the company itself cannot control us and tell us what we can and can't say, who we can and can't talk to as far as getting advice. Because if we have to help each other, that's what we just have to do. You see what I'm saying? Now, once again, when it comes to management, we are technically supposed to know who our managers are, our team leads, our mentors, or whatever, because it makes no sense for them to hide in the background and watch us from afar. You see what I'm saying? To me, that is just managing. Like that's not being a leader. And so if I just feel like if Instacart wants us to do our best, if they really have our best interest at heart, they'll be able to provide us the information on how to contact our people, our managers and whatnot. I understand that some of us have GroupMe's and stuff like that, but that's different because not everybody is able to download those apps. What if they have enough space in their phone? What if it crashes their system? I don't know, whatever the case may be. Or I think there's a lot of pettiness in some of these little small groups and stuff. It makes no sense. And so I just think that as shoppers, we're supposed to be able to help each other. Now, I'm not taking the lead of an Instacart manager or shift lead or whatever. I'm not even in management, and I don't want to be in management, but I'm only talking to you guys from personal experience and also from hearing from other shoppers as well. You see what I'm saying? And so I just know what I know. And that's about it. So you may not have some experiences like others do. Some of you guys are just going through and shooting the breeze and it's no problem. I mean, that's you, but everybody's having the same experiences. You know what I'm saying? And so now let me get on quickly to customer service. Now, I know most of us have had some type of run-in with the customer service representatives when we have called Instacart, when we have tried to get some help and tried to get, somebody to get on the phone, especially when a customer is not available, or if the app crashes, or maybe you got into an accident, or there's an emergency with a situation with a customer, like whatever the case is, you may have had some run-in with the agent because, and let me tell you guys why that this has become a problem. And I'm telling you, one of the reasons why it appears that the Instacart customer service department seems so poorly ran is because they are actually with different types of third-party customer service companies. Now, there are companies, for instance, like I think Dial Americas is a company like that. And there's so many companies that actually handle customer service for businesses. Now, I know this because I actually delivered to one of the companies that Instacart uses. Actually, it's one of the main companies that Instacart uses to be able to handle their customer service. Now, it's a local company. It's actually like 3 miles away from my house. It's like right up the street. And one day, the first time I had to deliver, I had no idea that they were with Instacart because they handle multiple companies, like they handle multiple businesses, like businesses that you actually use their services for. I know they handle like I think Netflix. They handle so many companies because I've seen it. I was there, and I think it was like maybe the third time I came there to deliver. It wasn't until I found out that one of the guys that was behind the desk, because I had on my lanyard, I think I had on my T-shirt or my lanyard. He goes, "Oh, you work for Instacart?" I said, "Yeah," because somebody had ordered something from the company, and he goes, "Oh, well, we all handle your account." I said, "Oh, really? What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, we handle the Instacart account." I was like, "Oh," and he said, "So anytime that you guys call, most likely you guys are calling here." I said, "Now that makes sense." And some of you guys wonder, wow, every time that we call, we're always talking to somebody young. I'm telling you from what I've seen with my own eyeballs, like the majority of the staff that works at these customer service companies, they're young. They're between like 18 and maybe 25. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm not trying to sound facetious or derogatory, but the majority, I would say about 60 to 70% of the staff, maybe 60-70% of staff are African American. The other maybe 20% is like Asian, and then Caucasian, and then the other ones are probably like Asian or whatever type of race or whatever. But and I have seen this with my own eyes, y'all. Like I've seen how they speak, I've seen how they interact with one another. Even like when I was delivering something, like I saw a lot of stuff, like how like I wasn't like in any of the rooms, but you can see some of the rooms from the outside because they have like a see-through door or like a window, whatever. And it's like how they talk. And now it makes sense to me as to whenever we call, you always wonder, why do they talk to us any kind of way? Why is there always such an attitude? How come we can't get through to anybody? It's because we're calling call centers. That's why. And most of these call centers have very young people who don't really know that much about professionalism, and most of them aren't mature. I'm not saying people of that age are not mature at all. I'm not saying that at all. But I have seen this, and I'm like, so now everything is starting to make sense now. And so whenever we call, we get some of these very young people that are, I guess, either undertrained or just aren't quite skilled at how to have people skills. You see what I'm saying? And so this is the reason why we get so upset and get so frustrated when we call customer service and we can't either get through to anybody or there's very poor service involved. And so this is kind of what happens just because we're calling a call center. And that's the reason why it's the customer service seems to be kind of poor with Instacart at this time, at least for shoppers, is that we're calling call centers. And so I'm not sure how they're being trained, and that's none of my business, but I'm just telling you guys because I have gotten many questions about this. And I know that you're probably not trained or even given information about this when you first start. And it's not a bad thing. It's not. It just means that it's just some improvements that need to be made with Instacart. I mean, it happens. And so it's probably something that they're going to improve hopefully in the long run. But I think it needs to be addressed now, especially when our app crashes and things of that nature, But that's something I wanted to just briefly tell you guys about the management and the customer service. Is that I'm going to summarize it up one more time, that, when it comes to management, we're all supposed to know who our team leads are, our shift leads or whatever, our mentors, and even the area managers. I believe Instacart needs to support who, at least give us some type of support, whether it's a phone number or email or something, and stuff like that. And also there should be no favoritism between the management and shoppers. There should be none. And so if there is any beef between the two, they need to sit down and talk about it like adults. And I don't believe that the team leads needs to go back and tell the management, like managers on shoppers that, who they have issues with, because if there is an issue, they need to talk about it first, because anybody can make up any kind of story. You see what I'm saying? And so, now I can't speak for all shoppers because, we're all human. Like we all have emotions. We have, feelings, and so we have personalities, we have character, and so all of us don't think alike, all of us don't act the same. Just like how there are how there are bad customers, there are some bad shoppers too, and so everybody's not the same, everybody doesn't think alike, but as far as that goes, as far in customer service, now you guys, I hope you guys now understand what's going on with customer service and why they're backed up. It's because, and also before I let you guys go, one of the main key reasons, thank you Lord, one of the main key reasons why Instacart, it's hard for us to get a hold of an agent. Now this is what I was told, like when we were at the onboarding session when I first started with Instacart. During onboarding, the young lady that was training us and giving us information, this is what she said. She wrote down the customer service number, which is the 415 number, which is in San Francisco, and it just routes you to a call center. She said to us, try not to call the number if you can. She said, only call if it's an extreme emergency. And she said something else about it, but then she just emphasized it. Do not call this number if you don't have to. This is now, I didn't really understand why, but she never gave a reason why. And now I found out why. The main reason why Instacart does not really, and how it's hard to get a hold of somebody, and sometimes when you call, you might get like a pre-generated message that says, our customer agents are busy. Please call back, something or whatever, or send us an email, shoppers@instacart.com, and we're only taking emergency calls, And so even if you do have an emergency, what happens is after you call so many times to Instacart, they already have your number in the database. And so you get moved down into the queue because they automatically assume that whatever you're calling about is not important. So anytime that you do call the customer service, which is being routed to the call center, I think after they get done, they have to specify what you were calling about. So if they figured that you're a habitual caller, anytime you call, you're not gonna be able to get a hold of anybody. Now, you see what I'm saying? And so not only that, they don't have enough agents to be able to handle the volume of calls that are coming in, because I believe that there are more shoppers than there are agents. Also, the reason why she said that is because it is very expensive every single time that we call the call center. Because why? Call centers charge, I think, per call or something. So Instacart is being charged per volume of calls. So they don't want us to call if we really don't have to. Even if it is emergency, whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. It's costing Instacart money because they're paying these companies to handle our customer service. So that is what's really going on. And so now you guys see why you'll call. And now there are other ways you can get through, but I think they're trying to get around that. But and then they ask you for your number, or like when you call with your number, you can't get a hold of anybody because your number is already in a system. And then they already know that you're a shopper, so they automatically assume that whatever you're calling about is not important. So you're going to be moved down to the queue, or you might get that pre-generated message telling you to email. So you could be sitting outside of a customer's gate, and you can't get inside the gate and the customers aren't answering. So you're just trying to get in and they're not coming. And so you're trying to call customer service. You can't get a hold of anybody because they can't handle, for one thing, the volume of calls, and also your number's in the system. So they know who you are, especially if you've called so many times. So they figure that your call is not important. Why? Because it's costing them money. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. I hope this helps you. And I just pray that it gets better, because they said that things will get better in the long run. And I believe it eventually, that things will get better. But as for right now, it's kind of rough on us because we just have to deal with it. And that's the best thing that I can suggest, is just kind of deal with it for now. And I know that it can get kind of frustrating when you need to talk to somebody right away. But, we've already had like a town hall meeting. And from what Instacart says is that they're going to work on the customer service. They're going to add more people. But I just think that, it'd be nice if Instacart, out of all the $400 million that the company got recently, a few months ago, build their own call center, have different places in different states. They get a building and hire people from the inside, like maybe hire shoppers to work at the call center, and what I'm saying, add more flexibility in working. That way you don't have to pay these outside people with poor customer service, like as Instacart workers, whenever we can hire each other, we can, corporate can hire people that are already working for Instacart as shoppers and then work inside the call center. Now, I know that may be available for some people in some states, but that's just my opinion. I think Instacart should have their own, that's just me. So I just want to share that with y'all. I hope that bless you. God bless.